the new charges he's now facing.
This is KCAL News, Los Angeles.
Now at 11, taking matters into their own hands. The people of Maui left homeless by the wildfires are frustrated and refusing to wait for the government to come to their rescue. Welcome to KCAL News at 11 on CBS Los Angeles. I'm Marcy Gonzalez. And relief is pouring onto the island, but many residents are complaining it's not getting to the people who need it most. As the death toll nears 100, survivor stories are emerging, as well as reports of looting. Here's KCAL News anchor Rutabaga Shabazi.
Support continues to pour in at this local church behind me. Volunteers have been up all night, really since this began, providing shelter, supplies, medical support, and just comfort emotionally for so many people who need it and who have lost their homes and been evacuated, as well as those looking for loved ones. Hawaiians have a long tradition of coming together to help each other, and that includes by boat, by jet ski, ferrying in supplies to the very hard-hit area of West Maui, because there's very, very little communication. They have still been cut off. There's a lot of frustration because the roads have been closed really since this happened. A lot of people have waited all night in their cars, camped out, waiting for the road to open, and then it briefly opens and shuts down again with very little answers. But now we're hearing from government officials, including a state senator, that that's because people were not obeying the rules, and there are anecdotal reports of lawlessness.
I've heard stories, as affirmed by several people, of looting incidences that have occurred. The most brazen ones, I think, occurred right after the incident itself. Reports of people coming in to loot, and it's a serious problem. There were some people who went back to their places and sheltered in place because their homes were intact, and they had to fend off potential break-in, looter.
So again, the grassroots effort was immediate. It was organized, all kinds of people lending any kind of support you can imagine, even volunteer firefighters going out to put out hot spots, because at one point there were 3 fires burning on this island, and it just clearly was not capable of handling such a huge catastrophic disaster.
And here at home, locals and travelers are landing at LAX following the destruction on Maui. KCAL's Tina Patel spoke to some people who just arrived.
Even though it has been a week since those fires broke out, a lot of people returning from Maui say it's still hard to process everything that they saw and experienced and what they know is still going on the island. There was a flight that returned here to LAX early this morning. It was a mix of visitors and locals on that flight. Locals tell us they're still trying to process the extent of the damage. Communication is problematic, so they don't know exactly who has been affected and how much has been lost. They say it will take a while to get those answers. As for visitors, a number said they couldn't leave right after the fire because it was hard to get flights out. They say they feel a little bit guilty now leaving. Here's what one woman told us about her experience.
It was scary. Luckily, we didn't see any of the flames, but we definitely smelled the smoke, and we were trying to keep track of what was going on so that we knew, do we need to evacuate? Do we need to try and find a way to go home? But like I said, we were luckily in another side of the island, so we were not affected by the fire.
That woman said the one thing she did try to do over the last few days was spend as much of her money as she could at local shops and restaurants, trying to help the economy, Locals tell us that will be necessary to have visitors come as they continue their recovery. But right now, they're just